What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Just did the servos here on this Hangar 9 Giant scale P51. So let's get into it and check them out. One thing that I noticed is that the holes that they provide with the servo screws, they're just not big enough. And I ended up cracking the wood on one of them. But the other three screws are holding it down nicely, and it wasn't a crack all the way through, but you could see where it did crack. So I backed it out, and then what I did was I did pilot holes for the rest of these. So this one's actually really good because I did pilot holes for this one. There already are holes there, but they're just not big enough for the screws that go in. So I recommend using what size is that one? That is a 332. So yeah, 3/32 seconds to drill out those holes for the retracts, or for the servos, aileron servos. Actually, all the servos are going to be the same way. Okay, here's the one that I cracked right here. You see that? But the other three screws are holding it down very nicely, so I'm not worried about it whatsoever. I will be putting a little bit of epoxy around those as well, just in case, you know what I mean. So that's that. All right, let me go over here. Hold on one second. Boy, my table is a mess. Like I said, it's organized though. So I decided not to use those Freewing servos, and let me explain why. I don't think that they're high voltage. First off, second off, I don't think that they're going to be heavy duty enough. I think that they have enough torque just to run the gear doors. I believe that they'd be okay just to run the gear doors, but I don't think that they're high voltage. I'm gonna check and see. I don't know if they are, but I don't think that they are. And if they're not high voltage, I'm gonna end up blowing them or burning them out or something like that. So we'll save the best for last. So right here, okay, this is the flaps. Lap servos are installed. I've only put 2 in there for right now because I have to do the pilot holes for that one. It's just getting late and I'm a little tired and I just want to get to bed. I've been working on this thing for the past 3 hours. Over here, only 2 in there as well. I just have to drill a couple more pilot holes out and put them in. And then on the flip side, now if you have one of these kits, you will have to measure up from here 6 and 9/32, and you will find the little grooves that this sit in. This is for your gear doors. It's what holds the retracts for the gear doors. The plane sets over this, so you won't even see that when the plane is sitting over it. You won't even see that. All your servos for your ailerons and your flaps come out of here. So that part is done. And then back here, look how close I could get this. Look at this. This is the servo. This is the servo for the throttle. There it is right there. Okay, now this one's going to want to pull back. So I'm going to have to set this servo up here, this arm up here. And then I'm going to use ball links. I have some nice ball links that are on their way right now. I just got them on eBay. I got a whole bunch of them for like 15 bucks. And they are for the Hangar 9s, Hangar 9 planes. So anyways, this servo right here, this is one of the 13 grams. I'm hoping that it's strong enough. It should be strong enough to push this throttle. I mean, it's nothing really. I mean, that is absolutely nothing. So, and then I also have a ball link that is going to be going on here, that is going to be falling down. See, this plane's upside down right now, so when the cow goes on, there's going to be a little hole in the bottom here, and this thing is going to be hanging down. I already have it made, and that's going to be for the choke. You pull it down, it puts the choke on. If you push it back up, it'll put the choke off. Okay, so that's going to be really simple and easy to get to. Can't wait. All right, so that servo is installed, ready to go. Got it in there nice and snug. And then back here, this one servo works both the steerable wheel in the back and the rudder. So outside will be your rudder, inside, the inside hole will be your steerable, or your outside's rudder, inside a steerable wheel. I have a larger one of these that I'll be putting on. Probably comes out to about here. I already have it. I'll be putting that on, and then I have some metal things that go inside of here and inside of here. They set in there, and they kind of epoxy in. And what that does, and then I also have a flange tool that I'll put in there and open it up while it's in there, as well as gluing it in. And what that does is that causes it so when you're moving this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all the time, it doesn't wear out this plastic right here. There's a nice little metal sleeve that goes inside of there, and it's going to work great. Like I said, I have a longer one that's going on here, because if you can look, if you can see right there, if you can see in there, the rudder ones are wider, and the steerable wheel is narrower. So I'm going to make them that piece as wide as I can, so that way I can get it at least out to here. That way that hole right there, that tube, is lined up here. See, it's lined up to about right here. So the ones that the one that's going on here is actually out to here. So that's just going to make it a nice straight shot to the hole, and then also up top a nice straight shot to the hole from where the hole is set up. All right, guys. That's it. The next step is putting on control horns, ball clubbuses, control. That is not the final mounting place for that. I just have it tacked. I just have it there with a zip tie for now. It's actually going to go. This is actually a hatch for the batteries. However, I'm not going to be putting my batteries in here. I'm going to put my batteries towards the tail. It's going to help me out tremendously with the. Because this plane is already, I can tell, is going to be a little bit nose heavy, and the fuel tank has to go there. So I'm going to be mounting my batteries back there with extensions. I'm going to have extensions coming. I even might mount them like down in there or something right there. Not sure, not quite sure yet. But in order to get this plane to balance out, I know I'm going to have to put some weight on the tail down there to get it to balance out. I was balancing it earlier. It's not incredibly nose heavy. It's, you know, it is nose heavy. It's quite obvious that it's nose heavy. I mean, it's got a bigger engine on it than it's supposed to have. So, and then I still have to put the mufflers on there, and I know that's not a lot of weight, but it's still weight. The fuel tank is plumbed already. It's already ready to go. So basically, it's just connecting the wires, the cables on that to the rudder, and then as soon as my $100 tail wheel retract comes in, along with my retracts, Robart retracts, 90 degree, 50 to 60 cc model retracts, Robart retracts come in, I'll be able to finish this thing up, and we'll put the cables in for that. I'm not going to put the cables in right now for the tail wheel. I'm going to wait until I get the tail wheel and then do the cables. But I will be doing the rudder cables and getting those done and out of the way, so that way we can move on to so that it's done by the time the retracts get here, and I can just get right to the retracts and get them done. I still have the gear doors to put on the back there. Still have the doors to put on this. I'm not going to put the doors on this yet until I actually get the retracts and make sure everything's lined up properly. But all the servos are in. Every servo is in this plane except for the two gear door servos, and that's because I need to order 2 more of these 13 kg ones. I'm going to get the 13 kg. Actually, you know what? I'm probably going to get the... Okay, so this is what I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to get the 20. I'm probably going to get 2 more 20s, okay? And then I'm going to actually take this out and that one out and put a 20 there and a 20 here. And then I'll take the 2 13s and I'll put them in there. But all this is for right now is that these holes are drilled and ready to go. The servos are in. I could use those servos there. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I didn't notice a difference between the 13 kilogram and the 20 kilogram. They both seemed really powerful, and they seem to have a lot of push. Both of them seem to have quite a bit of push. So, I mean, I don't know what the difference is between the 13 and the 20 kg. I mean, I just don't know. I don't know what the difference is between them. They both have the same specs. They both have the same stats. Honestly, I think it's just one says 13 and one says 20. I'm just guessing. That's just an educated guess. But they both pretty much have the same amount of push and torque. They're all high voltage servos. And then again, I might actually take this servo out here and run a more expensive servo for the throttle linkage, especially just for the throttle linkage, just because I don't want to be dead sticking this thing to the ground. So if this servo ends up burning out because it's cheap and it's just not good enough, I would rather have a nice, good servo here. If an aileron servo burns out or a rudder servo burns out, I can get this plane back to the ground with one aileron. I can get it back with just rudder and elevator. And the elevator servos that I'm putting in this are $90 a piece, and they're low profile servos that actually go to this plane. So you guys will be getting those too. The next shipment that's coming in, the next order that's coming in is the completion order for this plane. We have the retracts, the tail retract. We have 2 more servos for the gear doors. We have it's a board that goes in this thing to make sure that all the servos are getting all the power that they're supposed to. We're not going to have any lagging servos. This is a really cool board that you put in these that I've seen someone else using. And basically, it just doesn't matter how fast you're going. You're not going to get that torque stall on your servos. You're going to get full throw no matter how fast you're going. Your servos are really going to be able to keep up with the pace. And it's also going to be good for these servos because these are cheap servos, and all that's going to do is help these servos work better, easier, more fluent, and that's what we need out of them. So we have the retracts. We have a couple of more servos. And what else? All I know is that the next order that comes in, the next order on the first that comes in, is going to be everything that I need to complete this plane. It'll be 100% complete. The tank's already plumbed. Everything's ready to go, man. I mean, everything's good to go. It's basically like retracts. I mean, honestly, if I wanted to just throw some retracts on this, like some just regular retracts, non-retractable retracts, just throw some, haymakers on there for right now and throw her out there on the field, I could actually start this plane up and run this plane right now, barring the fact that I don't have the cables connected in the back. So if I had just some regular fixed landing gear on this, we'll say, and I had that servo hooked up to the rudder and the steerable wheel in the back, theoretically this plane could start and go right now. I could start the engine right now. I have the battery. I have the ignition box. I don't have the control arm hooked up to it yet, but I could still start this engine right now. The problem is that the prop that I just bought for this goddamn thing doesn't fit. So I have to go back there, take that prop back, and I have to get another prop, one that's going to fit this engine. So basically, that's just that right now. So the engine could be started right now. I have the battery for it. I have a couple of switches that I need because I'm going to have a switch and a charging port for my batteries. Switches to turn them on, and then there's also going to be a little port where I can plug in my charger right to the side of the plane. That way I don't have to keep taking the plane apart to pull my batteries out to charge my batteries. Even though that's not going to be too hard because my batteries aren't going where they're supposed to in this. They're going to be going somewhere else, so I could just reach. Technically, I can just reach in, grab the servo, or grab the batteries out of it. They're just going to be Velcroed in. They're not very heavy batteries, and a piece of Velcro will hold them just fine. Yeah, guys, that's it. Not a lot more to go, man. We're getting her done, Skip. We're getting her done, man. Looking forward to mine and Skip's weekly conversation that we're going to start having. Weekly coffee and weekly morning coffee and our conversation. So we decided to at least once every other week on a Monday call each other and just talk and shoot the shit and drink some coffee and just kind of keep each other company and throw some ideas back and forth at one another. Looking forward to that tomorrow, Skip. So that's it, guys. It's coming along real well. I can't complain. I cannot complain whatsoever. I mean, it hasn't been the easiest thing to accomplish. It hasn't been the easiest thing to do. But then again, it's my first one, and my next one that I do, I'll just know just everything, more and more. I want to do a P47. I want to have one of these, and I want it to be a P47. But I don't want to have to do this to it. I don't want to have to cut out. I want it to be everything that goes to that plane. I want it to fit. And guess what? I went on Horizon, and the engine that goes to this plane, wouldn't you know that they're back in stock again? And the last time I looked for the engine for this plane, it said discontinued, and now all of a sudden they have them in stock. How the hell does that work? That is so agitating. I mean, it was only $150 more than this one. It really agitates me that I've gone through all this and did this and gotten this engine, and now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, would they just find a box of them somewhere in the warehouse? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But I mean, what are you going to do? It's all set up now with this one. It's ready to go. Oh, and the cap and the spinner. The prop, the cap, and the spinner. That's another freaking $100 plus a prop, plus the prop. That's another, $25 to $30. The retracts for this thing, just the mains, just the front mains, with the sequencer and all that stuff built in. It's got the whole kit and caboodle. The robot retracts that go to this plane. And they are $359. And then it's $89 just for the retractable tail wheel, the electric retract for the tail wheel. $400 and some odd dollars just to put the retracts under this plane. I mean, holy shit, man. Wow. These birds are not cheap, man. These are not cheap planes. By the time I'm done, I'm going to have well over $2,000. I'm going to have well over $2,000 into this plane by the time it's done. Well over. Plus 20 plus hours. 20 plus hours of working on it. Well over $2,000. Well over $2,000 into this plane. Just the engine and the frame alone is over $1,000. It's like $1,100, $1,200 right there. Just for the plane and the engine. That's not including batteries, servos, time, the stuff that you need to do the fuel tank. I mean, the little tiny things like the fuel dot and stuff like that, the switches, the retracts. The retracts don't even come with tires, you guys. You got to buy the tires separately too. So the tires, those were like, I want to say $60 to $100 as well, just for two tires. The two tires that go to this plane, $60 to $100. So yeah. That's a lot of fucking money, man. That's a lot of money hurling through the air. I wanted to build this plane just because I wanted to have a nice large scale wooden monocoated P51, and this is pretty much the largest one on the market that you can buy as a kit. It's bigger than the Top Flight. It's I think this giant scale from Hangar 9 is the biggest P51 kit that you can buy, I think. I didn't see one bigger on there. This was definitely the biggest. So the Top Flight is a little bit smaller than this. It's not quite as big as this. It's a little bit smaller. Actually, it's a lot of bit smaller now that I think of it. I think that one came out at around like 3.5, 3 3/4 to 4 feet long. This one's over 5 feet long. So this is what you would call a super giant scale. That is a giant scale. The Top Flight P51 is a giant scale. Their giant scale is just a giant scale. This one is probably like a super giant scale. A quarter? It's quarter scale? Or no, a fifth scale? 1/5 scale? I think this is 1/5 scale. This is a 1/5 scale model, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it is. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's a 1/5 scale, guys. Yeah, it's either a quarter scale or a fifth scale. So, anyways, guys, I've let this video go way too long, way too long. We're at 20 minutes, man. I didn't realize it was gone that long. Yeah, I'm going to cut it short right now, man. That's it, guys. That's all I got for you. I'm just really happy with the way things are coming out right now. You know, not too much bullshit that's going along with it. Just a lot of kind of just little ignorant things. Not so much stressful things, just kind of little ignorant things, like things not quite lining up the right way, holes not being the right size, stuff like that. But all fixable things, all, you know, things that could be, you know, taken care of with a little bit of thought process put into it. Yeah, guys, that's it. This is Dave. Dave's RC. Hope you liked the video, guys. I'm doing my best. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. Peace.